I'm Todd Casella. I'm the Yates County District Attorney. I've been the District Attorney here since 2018. And before that, I was an Assistant District Attorney in Steuben County from 2013 until the end of 2017. And as a dedicated public servant, committed to upholding justice and safeguarding the vulnerable, the facts of this investigation were shocking and represent a level of depravity that I had never before encountered in over 10 years of service. It was hard to believe that in such a rural and quiet community like Yates County that sex trafficking could occur. Unfortunately, our community has been confronted with this shocking case, and it serves as a stark reminder of the persistent threat posed by sex trafficking, and that no community is immune to this crime. This case reaffirms my commitment to this profession because through the prosecution of this case, a child was saved. She was rescued in the truest sense by the dedicated members of the New York State Police from a truly hellish existence. I am forever grateful for their tireless efforts and grateful to have assisted them in this investigation. Every child deserves a nurturing environment free from the horrors and exploitation of abuse. And sex trafficking of children is a heinous crime that preys upon the most vulnerable among us. It robs young lives of their innocence, their freedom, and their future. And tragically, in this case, the very people entrusted to safeguard this young child were the ones abusing and orchestrating the abuse of her at the hands of strangers. Micheline Ridley was the adoptive mother of the victim and was convicted of predatory sexual assault against that child for engaging in multiple instances of oral sexual contact with her for years, while the child was less than 13 years old. All the while, she knew that Andrew Doherty, who was also living in the house with the child, was continually raping her for years, and she did nothing about it. As if being sexually abused by the two parent figures in her life wasn't tragic enough, Doherty went further. He sought other adults, either through social media or persons that he personally knew, and encouraged them to engage in sexual acts with a child from the time she was 12 years old until his arrest when she was 15. Doherty would cause these acts of rape and sexual abuse to be recorded so that he could view them later for his own sick pleasure. Stephanie Ridley, the aunt of the victim, who also resided in the house, was convicted of promoting a sexual performance by a child for recording one such instance of the victim being raped at the direction of Doherty. Nearly all of the individuals Doherty sought out to abuse the victim were intellectually limited to some degree, one of which has been found incompetent to proceed on the charges for which she was indicted. Doherty and Ridley are literally monsters. They are the most deplorable and despicable individuals imaginable for their persistent and expansive exploitation of a child under their care. It is thanks to the dedication and the hard work of the New York State Police that they've been held accountable for their heinous crimes, as well as the 13 others who have since been convicted and sentenced. The brave survivor of these crimes showed tremendous courage when she told her story and is an inspiration that reinforces our commitment to eradicating sex trafficking from our community. She is safe and doing well thanks to the members of the New York State Police and the Yates County Department of Social Services. To other potential victims, I want you to know that you are not alone. We are here to support you, to listen, and to fight for your justice. I also want to urge the community to remain vigilant and to report any suspicious activities involving children to the appropriate authorities. By working together, we can create a safer environment for our children and prevent further tragedies like this from occurring. Those are my comments. So I don't know if any of you have any questions.
I was just interested what went into tracking down and arresting all 18 of these individuals.
So the case first broke when an individual called 911 and reported that he had been forced to have sex with a child at some point. And that started the investigation. A statement was taken from him initially by a trooper and then subsequently by an investigator. which led to multiple interviews of the child where she ultimately disclosed all the individuals who were involved in abusing her. Together with the computer crimes unit of the New York State Police, extractions of various individuals' cell phones led to discovery of other individuals and other crimes that both corroborated those who had been disclosed by the child as well as other individuals.
And are there more arrests coming in this case, or is everything kind of all set?
Everything is done at this point. The child's been through a lot, and we're not going to subject her to further interviews or grand jury presentations unless she comes forward and discloses something new. At this point, this case is closed, pending the sentencings that I mentioned, the one hearing I mentioned, and then the subsequent sex offender hearings that will be held prior to the release of those who are incarcerated.
And I guess a question would be, what fears do you have for the victim moving forward? Because this is as you described it, a very, I guess, extremely unsafe environment she was in for quite a long time.
She is a tremendously resilient young woman. She has a lot of support around her now. And I'm confident with that fortitude that she's developed over these years that she will go on to be a productive person. And I hope that if she ever needs help, that she knows where she can reach out to get that assistance.
And the last question I have is, sex trafficking in our area getting worse, and how common is it to come across a crime like this?
I've never come across one before, and it's hard to say how common it is. It's one of those things, like with any crime that happens within a home, until we find out about it, it's really hard to know. You need, this case broke under very unusual circumstances. Had it not under those circumstances, it may still be going on. We can't investigate a crime that we don't know about. So that's why I made that comment. We need the public to let us know if something suspicious is going on. And this is true of any sex abuse case. Frequently, these types of crimes, whether it's sex trafficking or sex abuse in general, happen within the home. It's very rare that it's a stranger that orchestrates and commits these types of offenses. It's typically a family member, which makes it all the more difficult to discover.